some of that late, out of date transfer news. Welcome back to Big Stevie Cool 1872. And I say late, out of date. Well, it's not exactly late. It did break. I think it broke with it. Did it break last night? I'm not 100% sure, but I did break last night, 15th of April. Yeah, right, so let's get into this big bag of mints. Now, according to MLS transfers, right, according to MLS transfers, as the wind is seriously picking up here, brother. Let's go into it. So, source. LAFC and Rangers in Scotland are interested in Gio Reyna. More clubs are expected to join the pursuit. Despite interest for Bundesliga clubs, Gio is interested in leaving Germany. So, of course, Gio Reyna, I rate the kid, you know, really do. Obviously, got connections to Rangers Football Club. You know the story, you know the lore, etc., etc. I would absolutely take this guy in an absolute heartbeat. I think the problem is, you know, we're talking about a guy that is on a lot of money, and we are probably going to have to take some form of a massive pay cut in order to get this deal done. Now, the American, 22 years of age, born in 2002. He actually, fun fact, played yesterday during Borussia Dortmund's victory over Barcelona. He's got 9 games in the UEFA Champions League and 1 assist. And I tell you what, right, this is the kind of player that would very, very much interest me as a Rangers fan. It really, really would. Now, you know, let's talk about it. He's an attacking midfielder, right? Like I said, 9 appearances, 1 assist. But, you know, what we've got to bear in mind here is he's not spent a lot of the season starting for Borussia Dortmund, so the stats may look a wee bit worse than what they are. But then again, I mean, it's the Champions League, you know, Borussia Dortmund, Champions League, as we always hear, you know, it is, well, not always hear, we know it is the pinnacle of European football. He's played 14 games in the Bundesliga, grabbed himself 2 assists, hasn't played any sort of minutes in the Cup, of course. Now, he did obviously join Nottingham Forest on loan not too long ago. I say not too long ago, it was last season for 6 months. Now, the highest his market value ever was 42 million, and now it's turned to 10 million. That would be euros, but here, can't really complain too much about that. Now, his place of birth is Sunderland, so this guy could play for a lot of teams, realistically. Now, his contract runs out on the 30th of June 2026, so of course that takes him up to the end of next season, which is unfortunate if you want to bring him in the door right here, right now. Now, of course, he is the son of Claudio Reyna, right? And we all know him very, very well. And in terms of this deal, it would be a good deal. You know what I mean? It really would be. This is a guy who has played 32 times for the United States of America, 8 goals. You know, I know this season for Dortmund, it's not exactly the greatest stats of all time. You know, 2 goals, 1 assist in 23 appearances. He does come off the bench most of the time. But the reality is, folks, what are we expecting? Are we expecting a Borussia Dortmund starter to leave Dortmund and come to us for like £500,000? And you know, no, like this guy's highly thought of. He's young. He's a fully capped international for the USA, and you know, this isn't the USA of old. Like, the United States national team is a very good national team now. Same with Canada. And I think some people do live in a bubble and pretend that those 2 national teams are absolute mints, but I think we've seen over like the recent tournaments, the World Cup, back in 2022 that they are a lot better than what they once were. So yeah, obviously that'll be very interesting to say the least, of course. But of course, Claudio Reyna spent a few years at Rangers, and then obviously he left us to join Sunderland, where his son was born not long after. And how poetic would it be if his son played for Rangers just like his old man? Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. This would be a fantastic signing, but I do think it is a wee bit unrealistic. But here, 49ers American, I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man.